Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. So I recorded a reading just prior to this and released it about 8 hours ago. And near the end of that reading, I said I didn't feel like the energy was done. I really felt as though more messages were going to be coming through. And when I sat down to prepare for this reading, there was one message that just came through so strongly. And the message was that there is a person in your life. If this reading is for you, it won't be for everyone. In fact, it feels very, very specific today, but also very urgent for whoever needs to hear it. Urgent, not because there's anything going wrong or anything to be worried about, but urgent because if this video finds you and it's for you, I'm getting this feeling of grief coming up for you, but there's also a little bit of relief that you're sensing in this as well, almost like a truth has been illuminated that you kind of knew deep down all along. And anyway, we'll get into all of that. But for the specific group I'm speaking to here, there is someone who was not up to the task of loving you. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly because you are someone who embodies the high priestess energy. And for the purposes of this reading, what I mean when I say that is that you are someone who dominantly works in the spiritual realm. And the best way I can say it, it sounds strange, but dating you, being with you, being connected to you romantically, it comes with spiritual protections and benefits that many people take for granted because they are invisible and because they aren't necessarily measurable in physical terms, but they're very real. Often these spiritual benefits are only really understood in their absence. And I spoke on this in a recent Instagram reel. By the way, my Instagram is @MagnetizYourself if you want to follow me there. But in a recent reel, I spoke about how so often, well, specifically in the context of the divine feminine and divine masculine, let's just, for the sake of this reading, say the one who tends to be more spiritually oriented and the one who tends to be more earth, physically, materially oriented. When one who is more spiritually oriented in a connection is connected to someone and is naturally providing them these benefits. This doesn't have to be just in the romantic context, by the way. You automatically create this umbrella of these so-called benefits. And we could talk more about this, but this extends to anyone who has the privilege of being connected to you in differing degrees. So definitely people that you interact with regularly, coworkers, workplaces, environments, family, friends. It doesn't just have to be romantic, but for the purpose of this reading, this connection feels like it is or was romantic, depending on whether or not it's currently in your life. But what I'm getting is this is someone who misunderstood what you offered in this connection. And this person strikes me as someone who is logical to a fault, meaning they are so logically minded, so focused on what they can count and measure and understand on the surface. I'm not sure why that word counting came up. I'm seeing a lot of numbers. Maybe this person is an accountant or works in finance or the financial sector or something of that nature. But I feel like this is someone who is I also heard money oriented. I'm not sure why that's coming up. Maybe they're very money focused when it comes to their own life, or again, maybe they work in the financial sector or whatever the case is. But to the extent that they tend to discount the spiritual, this is someone who says that they are just logical, but they tend to deny spiritual realities that are, although they aren't necessarily measurable, they're very real. This is also someone who tends to disconnect from their emotions, but you are a person who they couldn't emotionally disconnect from. You brought out emotions within this person that they never felt previously in any other connection or relationship. This is someone who felt like something was broken with them when it came to relationships prior to meeting you, because they never really felt emotional about a prior partner or person. They would go through the motions in relationships and they wanted relationships, but it always stayed on the surface for them. It never really touched their heart. And in the back of their mind, they often wondered, is there something wrong with me? Am I broken? In fact, this person may have even expressed this to you when the two of you connected. And you showed them that they weren't broken, they were just disconnected from their heart. You have an energy that is so powerfully heart-focused and activated that it pierced through the walls that this person may have been having around their heart center, and it made them feel something. And truly, that in itself scared them, but also really drew them in because they recognized that what they were feeling with you wasn't like anything they'd felt with anyone else in the past. Now, the word love bombing is coming out. So maybe to people around you, or even to you, you may have wondered, is this person love bombing me? Because they would say things like, I've never met anyone that makes me feel the way that you do. Now, of course, only you can know what this person's traits are or how they operate in these kinds of connections. But when it comes to saying that specifically about you, that was not a lie. That was not something that they were just fabricating to tell you. They really meant that. In fact, they meant it so much that it scared them. And again, you truly did bring out emotions within this person that they had never, and I mean never in capital and bold letters, felt prior to meeting you. So now I'm hearing they fumbled the ball. Let's catch up to speed to the part where I feel like persistently Spirit was trying to work through this person, their spirit guides, their spirit team, who, by the way, may have brought you two together as well, because I feel like there was something very fated about your meeting. I'm seeing an airport, so maybe flying, travel, airports are significant to your meeting or to one or both of you. But I'm also seeing an airport as symbolically being a kind of liminal space, an airport being an in-between kind of place where you tend to connect and see and interact with people from all over the world that you wouldn't usually see otherwise. And so I feel like it could be symbolic to your meeting that this meeting was orchestrated by your spirit teams jointly, but also the way in which you met was almost like you were meeting in a way or in a place that you wouldn't usually encounter each other. Or there's something about your lives. I'm hearing back home. Maybe you have different homes or live in different places geographically, but I feel like you come from very different places, but you almost met in the middle in this liminal space that we are representing metaphorically with this airport imagery, but it doesn't have to be an airport. It's like you met in the middle spiritually. And this connection was meant to soften this person's heart. They were meant to lean into it. But not only that, it was meant to push them to evolve themselves, to grow and to change and to improve themselves. Because truthfully, when they met you, when they connected with you, you made them feel all of these emotions. But in all honesty, they were not ready to love you, meaning they were not ready to give you the kind of love that someone of your caliber spiritually requires. And I'm not saying that out of any kind of arrogance. When I say that someone of your caliber spiritually requires a certain kind of love, I'm talking about the fact that you are someone who is very spiritually attuned. Again, you very much embody the high priestess. You're very connected to your intuition. You spend a lot of time in the astral realm, in the spiritual realms, working energetically, whether that's happening consciously or subconsciously. And as a result of all of that, you do provide these so-called spiritual benefits for people who are connected to you, especially someone romantically close to you in a partnership. That is the most sacred position to be in your life, because if someone is in a sacred romantic partnership with you, they are really experiencing the maximum benefits of, I'm hearing like how you're mediating for them in the spiritual realm. But that also means that they have maximum obligation or requirements to you in return, meaning you require someone who can really step up and provide a structure, a container, a safety net, a protective space in the physical realm to make you feel safe and understood and supported as you work so beautifully in the spiritual realm. And part of that equation naturally is that they have to respect your spiritual power, and they don't have to necessarily fully grasp it or understand it, but they have to know enough to recognize the spiritual benefit of being connected to you. And they have to honor that and again, support that. And what I'm seeing is that this person was being pushed to become the kind of person that could do that for you, but it's almost like they were refusing to fully see you. And when I say that, when you were around this person, you may have had, and in fact, I feel you did have this heart chakra connection to them, and you could really see their potential of what they could grow into. But you also had this awareness that they were not living up to that potential, A, and B, that while they may have looked supportive on the surface, there was always this underlying, I don't want to call it doubt. I feel like there was always this underlying sense of either being unconscious of your intuition, your spiritual power, your gifts, or dismissing them or ignoring them, maybe in part because it would have caused them to feel threatened if they were to stay where they are, if they were to remain stagnant and not grow in the ways that you were pushing them to spiritually. When I say pushing, you weren't literally pushing this person to do that. Your energy, though, was trying to push this transformation through them as the two of you were connected. And I feel that this finally reached some kind of breaking point, and I'm hearing that what happened here is you came into some kind of powerful moment of clarity or a realization that something about staying connected to this person was negatively impacting you, distracting you, creating some kind of distortion in your life, in your energy, in your field. I hate to say it, but I almost feel like, and again, they may not have been doing this consciously, but I feel like they were trying to manipulate you to move forward with them without actually doing the necessary work to become that kind of safe, sacred container for you to feel truly comfortable to move forward with them. It's really reminding me of a quote I saw on Instagram, which is, healers must date protectors. And I feel like you are that healer, and the people that you interact with romantically, especially if you're in a sacred partnership with them, have to represent that archetype of the protector and the defender. And I feel like this is someone who undervalued your role in the spiritual realm and therefore was kind of expecting you to play dual roles, to be both showing up for them and supporting them materially and doing all of that spiritual work that, again, they didn't really understand or respect, so they were kind of dismissing it subtly. And this was leaving you feeling really overburdened or tired. But how do you possibly explain this to a person who is in denial of the energetics of these types of connections, or in denial of the more spiritual side of things? And so I feel like there was really no way to explain this to this person, but you started to have this profound sense of clarity. And you may have realized, whoa, this person is not aligned with me, or they're even actually kind of detrimental to me right now because they are expecting me to play this dual role in this connection. They're expecting me to carry so much here, both physically and spiritually, and this is inhibiting my ability to fully focus on working in the spiritual realm. And again, at the same time, it almost feels like they were trying to manipulate you or get you to move forward with them against your intuition, because your intuition was telling you it's not time yet, things aren't really feeling right. And I feel like they were almost trying, and again, this may not have been conscious, but what was happening is they were gaslighting you out of listening to your intuition that was softly telling you, now is not the time. This isn't ready to move forward. And I feel ultimately this came to a breaking point where you may have realize this within yourself. But the strange thing I'm getting, and I think this is what came up in the last reading as well, when I said that near the end of the reading, I said, someone seemed to be coming into your life thinking that they were like saving you, but not recognizing how powerful you already are. It's like they wanted to be a hero, but they didn't want to honor or respect you in your own power. And I said, in addition to that I'm trying to recall exactly the details of that reading. I'm sure they'll come up later. I do want to pull some cards here as well. I know it's 15 minutes into the reading and we haven't pulled a card yet, but there's just been so much flowing through in downloads from this already. So thank you to those of you who have brought your beautiful energy to this reading. If you do resonate with my energy, I would love for you to subscribe. And when you subscribe, you will be the first to know when I post fresh new downloads and messages and readings. Yeah, wow. With Judgment reversed, I feel like this person was deeply in denial about something. And I feel like they were just refusing. I keep hearing refusing to fully see you, refusing to fully look at you in your power, in your confidence, in your intuition. And in refusing to fully see you, but then trying to get you to move forward with them, they were leaving you feeling unbalanced. But this is the message I was getting. It just came back to me. So what I was going to say is the moment you have this clarity, I'm hearing the spell broke. And what I mean by that is it's almost like, okay, so with this person, you may have been having these realizations and then suddenly you don't even express it to them, but they start pulling away from you or distancing or fading out of your life or seemingly rejecting you, ghosting you. Or maybe you actually did express some of your reservations with them, or you set some kind of boundary, or you pulled away. But then this person may have actually actively rejected you in some way, if you know what I mean. Like you may have started to set boundaries and then they may have said, well, I'm actually not ready to move forward with this, or I'm actually not interested, or maybe they just ghosted you or pulled back. So the key here is that the moment you have the clarity, the spell breaks. The moment you get clear within yourself, wait a second, this isn't serving me, whether you express it in words or action towards this person or not, it's almost like that completely breaks the spell or the illusion here, and the truth comes to the surface. And then because this person, to be honest, what the guides are really saying is like, they don't have the courage to step up and be the person that they need to be in order to love you properly in the way that, again, someone of your spiritual caliber quite literally demands. Not that you're demanding it actively from people, but your energy demands it. And it's funny. It's almost like you are rare, and in a sense, we could say it like a metaphor where imagine yourself as like a really, really expensive designer handbag or something. Like you're very rare and exclusive and valuable. And when this person turns you down or seems to reject you, it's not that they don't want you or that they're not looking at you longingly through the window or wishing that they had you. It's that they looked at the price tag and realized you're too expensive. And what I mean by that is, your energy is too powerful and too beautiful and too rare and requires too much out of them. So it's not that they don't long for you, and it's not that they don't want you. It's that you are now a reflection, or you're reflecting something about them and their own feelings of lack within themselves that make them feel like they can't live up to being worthy of you. And in their current state, that's true, which is why they've been given this time and space to evolve, but I feel like they've still been in this state of stagnancy and this state of denial. And as we've been channeling in recent readings, you are really moving towards something new and powerful. With the Three of Cups, this isn't a rejection. It means that you are being realigned with connections that can truly see you fully and celebrate you and support you in your power, whether those are friendships, romantic relationships, soul family, other forms of connection in your life. But I do feel that the reason this message wanted to come up for someone is because there was this grief surfacing within you. There was this feeling of, was I not enough for this person? Did I open my heart to them for no reason? And did they just reject me because I couldn't live up to what they wanted me to be, or something along those lines? But the opposite is actually true. The spell was broken and it became clear to this person. It's almost like they actually did finally see you fully, and it terrified them. When that spell was broken, they finally couldn't ignore it anymore. They had to look at you fully, right in the face. They had to see how powerful and beautiful and rare you are. And that's why the spell was broken. That's why they did something to make you feel rejected or to walk away. It had nothing, well, I was going to say it had nothing to do with your value, but it actually did have everything to do with your value. You were too valuable. You were too rare. It made this person feel threatened on some level. And I truly feel as though your guides are really reserving you for the kinds of pure loves and friendships and connections that can support you in this next phase of your unfolding journey. Because wow, this next phase for you, it's going to be huge. It is so powerful. I know you can feel it unfolding already. I'm getting chills even just talking about it. And I'm so grateful to be part of that journey with all of you as it unfolds. Let me know in the comments what you've sensed you're shifting into in this new journey. Maybe it's a project, a goal, something you've been creating or doing, or something that's been happening or showing up for you, because I love that feeling of community that we're creating here together. So with that being said, I want to channel a few messages to you personally from your spirit guides, the universe, your higher self, whatever divine forces you personally connect with. So I'm going to shuffle for that. While I'm shuffling, if you would like assistance in clearing your energy and really connecting with those beautiful soul-aligned connections that are meant for you, I really recommend my 2 subliminals, Love Magnetism and also Quantum Connection. These are really powerful, especially when used together on a playlist in my Subliminals app, because Love Magnetism will help you to unblock any love-related blockages that you could be storing in the 7 chakra centers, to really deeply reprogram your subconscious mind to attract in love, positive attention, support, not just romantically, but in all forms. And Quantum Connection is a newer subliminal, and it's designed to actually connect you in the quantum realm with those soul-aligned people, things, and situations that are truly destined for you and connected with you on that authentic core soul level, and to speed up those kinds of meetings and connections. So those 2 subliminals are from my app, Sound and Soulful. In this app, I have over 130 subliminals for love, relationships, mood, mindset, money, appearance, business, and so many other things as well. So there's so much to explore in the app. Personally, I've seen more powerful results using my own subliminals over the years than any other manifestation tool. So I'm so excited to be sharing them with all of you through my app. And when you sign up for a free account in the app, you can get access to every subliminal in 10 different background sound options. You can read the affirmations while you're listening. You can even create your own custom private playlists in the app. So the link to download the app and get started for free is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Okay, so the first thing your spirit guides want to say to you with the Knight of Cups is, I'm hearing there is a patient love coming. Now, I don't know if this means simply that this lover is someone who's deeply patient with you. They're not rushed. They want to take their time. They respect your timing because your timing is connected to the compass of your intuition. But this also could mean a love that you've been very patient for, the kind of love that you've been waiting for. Be confident in that with the Strength card here. I also feel that this is a love in itself that connects with you in your confidence, in your strength. Here we have the Page of Pentacles in the upright position. Can I get a clarifier? Okay, so I'm actually picking up that you may have had some kind of new inkling, urge, inspiration recently that's very connected to your heart. So It brings up a lot of emotions within you when you think about it or when you participate in it. It gets you excited. It feels fresh and new and exhilarating. But there's been some doubts too. And that's why this message is coming in to tell you to trust that feeling of passion towards some kind of new project or endeavor, even if it feels like a slow start, even if it feels small at first, or you're not sure where it's going to go, because you've already evolved into the Queen of Wands, into someone who's confident, self-assured, magnetic, lit up, in a way that is going to pull this goal, dream, or desire to you naturally. I feel like it's already a done deal here, but it requires you to trust in it and to keep following those feelings of pull and that creative spark that you've been having. Is there anything else I can channel here? So we did have the 5 of Swords and the 8 of Cups. And I'm getting that for some of you, this energy we've been channeling into this reading of someone who seems like they're rejecting you, but really it's like they're being ejected out of your reality because they haven't been doing the inner work required to sustain a connection with you that will be beneficial to you. I feel like that might apply to more than just this romantic relationship. Maybe that's been happening with other people in your life or things in your life, even non-romantic things, or there's just been sudden conflict or tension in some things in your life that, again, it's that sense like a spell has been broken and they're being forced to look at you fully to see how powerful and beautiful you are, and it's triggering them in some way or causing them to create some kind of tension or conflict. If that is the case, I'm strongly getting the message to let these situations go, to let them either evolve with you or dissolve naturally, at least temporarily. I'm hearing leave this person to their own reality. Let people create their own reality, as we all do. If someone is currently living in a reality of fear and control and they're not yet ready to evolve out of that, that is their choice and their decision, but that might not be aligned with you, and that might create conflict or tension with you. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Lovers. Yeah, I strongly feel as though there's some kind of powerful romantic partnership coming into your life. For some of you, maybe you're going to be reconnecting with someone, meeting someone new. But I really feel as though for some of you, this person that seemingly rejected you is making way for an emperor here. Yeah, for someone who is capable of holding and seeing all of you, and not only capable, but they admire all of you that they're seeing so clearly, and they fully honor and respect your spirituality and how you work in the spiritual realm and the energetic realm, and they support you as a counterpart in the physical realm, as that protector energy that we were talking about. So for some of you, quite literally, the reason this other person or situation had to dissolve or fade out, or there's been boundaries in place there now, is because it's making space for this beautiful new emperor connection to come into your life. So take from this reading whatever connects for you personally. I know we've channeled a lot of different specific messages, and at the end of the day, it's really your intuition that is the compass of your life experience. But I do hope this helped to provide some kind of clarity or guidance for you along your path. I am sending you all huge amounts of love. As always, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, or of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. You can also now listen to my channeled songs under my artist name, Songs by 𝗫𝗫𝗍, and these are going to be available on most streaming platforms. My first song, Go On to New York, has recently been released. Thank you for all of the love and support on that project, and I'm so excited to release more channeled songs. These are going to be messages and threads of energy like what come through in these readings, but in lyrical and song form. And I'm working on releasing my second one soon, so if you want to follow my music and get updated on that, then the best place to follow me for that is Spotify. So the link to that will be in the description box. And of course, if you would like to utilize my love, magnetism, and quantum connection subliminals to really deeply shift, align, and magnetize your energy field to attract in the love that you desire and deserve, then the link to download the app for free and get started is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. I hope you have a beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next reading.